I arrived at the central station where that tiger is, but there was nobody there, so I just rented an electric scooter and shot across the town. As I was about to give up after a few hours and a couple of trips all around, they're actually right behind me around that corner where the people are, on the right side. So I was just about to get on the train, and then I saw the live stream. They were just outside where I was just moments before. So I grabbed my Sandman Dan poster and here we go.
Hey.
You believe in this guy?
Yeah, sure.
Nice. That's
So-
nice. That's nice. Okay, I'll give you one question. You can do me one question. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
How about? Okay. So, what's it? Two opposing gas pressures. What separates them? We've got the vacuum of space, and we've got what's it? Our atmosphere here.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it? Like 14 point something per square.
Yeah.
So, what is the barrier that separates them two?
Gravity.
Sorry.
Gravity. Because
Gravity.
there's a
How can you prove that? So there's something magical that's pulling all of this.
There's a gradient, you know that.
There's a gradient. How can you prove this?
I'm just going to switch my camera. This is going to be fun.
That's okay.
Sorry.
But how can you prove this?
So of course it's going to start with a question that's hard to prove and easy to deny. Just like all the other down there. Every time there were new people, they're going to start with the gravity or something up in the atmosphere. That's just tactics to confuse people with something they can't prove for themselves without a spacesuit. This is of course old news. They always ask for the barrier. But there are no barrier between 14.7 down here and on the top of the mountains where the air is so thin they got to have oxygen masks. And of course this goes on and on without any barriers until just about zero. It's not that hard.
What kind of proof do you like?
Well, no, I'd like. What's it? I mean, other than something just dropping,
If I want to show you gravity, how do you want to see it? That's the point.
I want you to prove it to me that it's real. That it's what's it? It's,
How prove it? How should I prove it to believe it? That's the question. How would you like me to show you gravity?
Hey, look. If you've seen that gravity exists and you've just made a claim that gravity exists, do you think that the proof should come from you? Not from me trying to educate you on what gravity is. So what do you think gravity is? This magic.
Flat earthers deny everything every time. That's why I asked this question: how does I want to see the proof of gravity? This is why it's so awesome to have people like B.M. Furball in this community who actually done something about it himself. He built his own Cavendish experiment and let it run for months. This is an awesome example of mass attracting mass, aka gravity. Link will be in the description.
Earth being flat.
Okay. But you say, so my argument is there's water that goes around a ball, and your argument would be that gravity holds all of this to the center of the earth, okay? That pulls everything to the center of the earth. So how could you prove that?
If I poured water over this globe, how much would you expect to stick? How about if I switch this one with those two bowling balls? One 8-pound and one 16-pound. How much water will stick to those?
You believe that? You seem as though that you're trying to form an answer there that it's so difficult. You should have given me this answer so easily by now.
Oh, that one's gonna bite you in the ass later.
That's why I asked, how do you like to see gravity? Because whatever I show you, you won't accept it.
Oh, okay, so try me.
Yeah.
What would you give?
Cavendish experiment.
Okay, so two masses being pulled together.
Yeah?
Okay. Can you prove that? Can you demonstrate that works? Two masses being pulled together. I've watched it. I've watched teachers and all that struggle with it.
I've seen B.M. Furball sample.
I haven't. No.
He's done Cavendish in South Korea now for half a year.
Okay.
And it's done all over the...
Can you name that channel again? So.
B.M. Furball.
Okay, B.M. Furball. We'll have to look into that. B.M. Furball. Okay. So this magical force that is pulling everything together. So I look at it as a imaginary line going all the way up to the sky, all the way up, okay, and goes up to let's say an aeroplane at 30,000-40,000 feet. There's a guy in that airplane and he drops an apple, and that apple is being pulled down by gravity, this magic. And that's what it is, magic. So in the air, all the way in the air, in the atmosphere, all the way up to that plane, what is gravity that's pulling it? What is it? Is it magnets, like a magnet? What is it?
Is it magnetism? Not a bad question. This is the biggest one I have, but I call it Big G. So this is little g. A small paperclip. Doesn't stick that hard, like a butterfly or something. Try a little bigger little g, like a person. Sticks a bit harder. Go up another size, and it even sticks harder even. I didn't change Big G, I changed little g. So even though the magnetic force or the gravity force is the same, it depends on little g.
So would you believe that is something that it's a belief? Because you can't, because you seem to be struggling in proving it.
I have this one. If you're
Oh, by the way, we'll do this for about 10 minutes because I've come a long way to. But
I know, I see the
no problem. Let's see what you can do.
Hello, I'm Tommy Grunwald.
So, okay, nice to meet you.
Yeah, I'm on YouTube channel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
This is where I turn away from gravity and go into what's actually what matters in the question about flat or sphere. The observable geometry.
There's a whole lot.
Right.
To show how the Earth not can be flat.
That cannot be flat.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about all this land that I get to see?
If you, the best proof of telling a pizza from a ball.
Okay.
What would that be?
Who says it's pizza?
Flat.
I didn't say that.
What shape is the Earth?
I don't know. I've never been.
For someone who doesn't know, he sure is denying a lot. Just wait.
I'm the foggiest. What we're looking for is curvature.
It's a globe line. We know.
See, you've been listening to Simon Dan too much.
What is it?
No, we don't say it's a pizza.
Right.
He says that. He's been trolling you lot for ages. He's been trolling you. We don't think that. We've never said that.
Hashtag watch Simon Dan.
What shape is it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
How would we know that?
We just know that it's
We know it's not a ball. You're making a claim, and people are making a claim that you live on a ball, and we're saying that we want proof.
Why do you want proof? You deny everything.
But you're not providing proof. You know what you give me? This is what you give me. You give me you give me photographs like this that has copy and paste clouds. That's your proof.
Is that horizon flat?
Oh, I really don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But do you think that you can see curvature?
That's
Do you think that you can?
Yeah.
Do you think that you can see curvature on the ground? Do you think that?
Yeah.
Okay, but mainstream science says that you cannot see curvature on the ground.
Yeah.
That's where I show him this photo, my own observation from the end of the world. Squeeze it together. There's the curve.
If you want to see something small, like an atom, use a microscope.
Yeah.
If you see something far away, use a telescope.
So when Neil deGrasse Tyson
Yeah,
says,
by eye.
so when Neil deGrasse Tyson says, when you're up there, when the Felix Baumgartner, when he does that jump, and he says that you cannot see any curvature
Yeah,
whatsoever from that distance. So when he says that, but are you going against that? Is he lying?
No, because you'll be with your eyes.
Hang on, you can't have it both ways. Can you have it? You can have it both ways. So on the beach you can see curvature,
With the camera.
but in space
Yeah. This is with your eyes. That looks flat.
you're saying we need to be clear. We need to be clear. This.
Yeah.
You're saying on the beach you can see curvature, but in space you can't see curvature.
With your eyes. You need tools.
Oh, sorry. Well, he had cameras and things, didn't he? And Neil deGrasse Tyson says that you cannot see any curvature from that height. Is he lying?
With your eyes, yeah.
When I talk about tools, I talk about this one. My Canon EOS 7D Mark II. This is a normal 24 to 70 millimeter. If I want to take pictures of the curvature side to side, I need this one, 10 to 20 millimeter. That's not a fisheye lens. That's a rectilinear wide angle lens to get most side to side distance. Later on, I'm going to use this one, which is 100 to 400 millimeter. That's to get curvature away from me. More about that later.
He didn't say anything else like that. I mean, like you're putting words into his mouth now. Did he? He didn't say that. He says that you're not going to see curvature.
You need tools.
You need tools.
Yeah.
Okay. What sort of tools would that be? We're not talking atoms. We're not talking. Yeah. Okay.
If you want to see something far away, use a telescope.
But that telescope is going to zoom into something. You know, like I know the way perspective works. I mean, like so that telescope is just going to zoom into something. It's not going to expand something out, is it? It's just going to zoom into something.
That's why you use the wide-angle lens to get the
And the wide-angle lens has a distortion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why do you think I had a straight board?
Of course, that straight board is there to show that it's still straight. The horizon, not so much.
So what you're saying is that so you can manipulate it with Photoshop or something.
No, paint.
with paint, with Windows Paint.
That is
Okay.
straight.
So what we're saying is that this has been manipulated, yes,
It's been squished side to side out there.
because of a wide-angle lens
Did I add
creates
a curve?
distortion.
Did I add a curve?
So why? I don't know. But we just agreed that a wide-angle lens creates distortion. We just agreed that.
That's why I had a board, because the board is still straight.
Sorry.
That's to show there's no distortion.
Okay. But you're saying, I need to show you guys this. You're saying that from that distance to that distance, that is curvature.
Yeah.
That's one small Earth.
That depends on how much you choose to squeeze it. It looks flat now. If I squeeze it this much, I get that bulge. Squeeze it more. That's the curvature. The more I squeeze it, the more curvature I get. That doesn't mean we live on a bowling ball.
No.
Yeah. No, that's one small Earth. Basically, if that's curvature, basically what we're saying that Earth is probably, I don't know, about 4,000 or 5,000 miles in diameter. If you keep creating that shape and creating that shape and creating that shape, it'll only be about 4,000 or 5,000 miles, wouldn't it? In circumference.
How much degrees do you think is in there?
I really don't know.
Quarter of a degree or something.
I really don't know.
That's a pretty big ship down back there.
But I know that I've done this one. Do you know a chap called Plane Ranger? Well, he's had a level about that size, and he puts it against the sea, and then we don't see any curvature whatsoever. So why are you seeing curvature?
Maybe it doesn't.
Egg squeeze me. He put a level to the horizon, and he didn't see the curvature. Wow.
And yet he's been doing it for some years now, and he's got lots of evidence.
Lots of evidence of no curvature. Well, that's because you're using the wrong tools. You need to use the right ones.
Okay.
Yeah, so do I.
See, I don't believe that for a second. Now, what I would do is go out and do my own observations, and I can guarantee that you do not see that curvature.
Again, use the right tools.
How about this? If I was,
Okay.
if I was iometric or imperial,
Okay. I'm metric.
yeah, if I'm 22
I was
meters
imperial.
above the sea,
Okay.
and I have a wind turbine, this is 300 meters high.
Okay.
How far away do I need to have that before I see it below my eye level?
I don't know, but go on.
Yeah, that can happen on the flat Earth. It
Well,
can happen.
hang on, you're saying it can't happen. I mean, you know about perspective and angular resolution. You've looked into that, surely.
Bring on the excuses.
And you looked into angular resolution and compression. You looked into that.
How does,
Did you look into angular resolution and compression? So when we see a ship and then it says stenoline, and you can see that stenoline is all squished, and so the top half of the boat isn't all squished. That is the compression, isn't it? And that's how what's it perspective and compression works.
let me explain this.
Okay.
So we haven't even seen the photos, and you already have all the excuses ready. He's prepared.
When you have that wind turbine,
Right.
300 meters high.
It's what?
300 meters.
300 meters high.
150 meter hill and 150 meter
Okay.
wind turbine in Sweden.
Yeah.
How far do I need to push that before to get below my eye level? How does perspective work?
And compression.
Does
But that's going to be different each time, because that's about atmospheric conditions, isn't it? So that's going to change.
You see, I was about 70 feet, that's 20
Yeah.
centimeters.
No.
Yeah. And I have those wind turbines.
Do you see what we've written there? What? So this was it the Blackpool in the distance?
Yeah.
That's 65 miles away,
Yeah.
and 2,500 feet should be hidden.
2,500 feet should be hidden.
The highest mountain is the highest mountain. That's based on that. The highest mountain is
Who
two.
invented that formula?
I don't know who.
Southern Bottom.
Okay.
No globe used that formula ever.
Does it not work for, let's say, 65 miles?
Yeah, but where's
Does it work for 65 miles? Does it work for 65 miles? Does that formula work for
Those are
65?
down for observer height.
That 8 inches per squared mile, does it work for 65 miles?
If it has observer height, yeah.
Okay, so it does work.
If you have observer height.
Right, so that's kind of, so it works.
Is observer height
Right,
calculated
right.
in
So,
this
so what we're saying, yes, it is.
target height?
Okay, yes, it is.
Walter Bislin is a genius. Here he showed just how wrong that 8 inches per mile square is. It's most accurate at exactly 391.1 kilometers. Closer to that and further to that, it's not. Also, the 8 inches per mile square will have a drop larger than the radius of the Earth at a distance. If you want to find the curvature, go to Walter Bislin's curve calculator. Link in the description.
So this is Calais to Dover,
Yeah.
24.8 miles.
Yeah.
The highest peak is 350 feet, okay? But 300 feet should be missing. You should see maybe a few little peaks, little tiny peaks, but we can see the entirety of the whole White Cliffs of Dover.
still have
Why,
observer height?
why are we seeing that?
Did you still have observer height?
Observable height, yes. And that's the same. Well, look at this. Look, we'll just go one step further. This is 273 miles away, 3 miles high.
That's a big
and the
thing. Have you
right.
seen the page?
And of course, now it brings up the world's longest photo, which have been explained by the photographer and so many other people. This is something they see once a year, not every day, because of reasons.
Photographer.
Look,
See that once a year.
Well, regardless, but we see it.
Under extreme
We see it,
conditions.
and then you got the did you watch the Canigou? Was it mountains? And you seen the sun code? Was it behind them? You can see that. Did you see that on? I think it was Jerry or Globus.
It's like this. How can you explain this
Why are
in
you
further?
denying on stuff like that?
Why do none of this?
So now he wants it to be like I'm denying, when he tries to dodge out of my observation.
Oh, we'll look into it. I promise you, I'll look into it.
Have you looked into it, Jason?
But I know it's to do. I know it's to do with angular resolution and perspective and compression.
How does perspective work?
How-
Does perspective allow something to go from above eye level to below eye level? Between,
Everything goes up to the centre of eye level,
Yeah.
from the sky coming
Yeah.
down to the centre.
to the center.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're in
Why
agreement
does this
there.
go from above to below.
So everyone agrees that this is perspective. Everything converges into a vanishing point, from above, below, and from the sides. Perspective.
Well, that depends on how you've angled the camera, surely.
No.
Well, I don't know how you've angled the camera.
Hey.
I don't know that because I wasn't there with you. So I mean, because I mean, you can have your camera still, you can have it up and tilted down, you can have it down and tilted up. I think it does when it comes to
That's my
perspective.
camera.
This is where I show him these photos, where I got the camera leveled over that water level. And there is eye level center frame. I tilt the camera backwards. It is eye level bottom frame. I tilt the camera forwards. It is eye level top frame. As long as you have a point of reference, which is at water level, it doesn't matter how you point that camera. This is also obvious when I point that camera all over the place. Nothing changes internally in the frame. the houses or the wind turbines doesn't change places in reference to each other.
Okay.
That's the water level.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's watch here.
Yeah.
That's eye level.
Right.
Yeah. That's eye level center screen.
Okay.
Yeah. How about this? That's still eye level bottom screen.
Okay, but we're on
Yeah,
we're on
that's
land
eye
though,
level.
so it's a bit okay.
Screen.
Okay, but
Eye
we're
level
still.
doesn't matter.
What I'm saying is that we're still on land. That I mean, none of this proves anything because we're on land, aren't we?
eye level.
But we're still on land. It doesn't prove anything, does it?
That's eye level.
Really?
Top screen.
Okay,
So
but
it doesn't matter what's.
okay, but what I'm saying is
as
that.
long as you have a point of
But we
reference-
can't look at horizons or anything on land. You agree with
As long
that?
as you have a point of reference, it doesn't matter.
Right. But you can't. Sorry, on land.
This is a point
On
of
land, that makes a difference, does it? I mean, like you can have hills as high as whatever on land. All your observations need to be done by the sea, on the sea, doesn't it? All your observations need to be done there. Yeah.
That's why I had this one.
Okay.
That's my point of reference.
Yeah.
My point of reference is on that.
It is the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those are below my eye level.
Sorry, those are below your eye level.
Yeah.
But this is to do with perspective again, isn't it?
All together now.
Okay.
Perspective doesn't
Look.
Perspective
Here
doesn't-
on the street. I can't argue with this or not. This is something that I've got to take away. Would you agree with that? Do you think I could argue this on the street?
Can I agree with this?
Remember earlier when I said I was going to bite his ass? Just did.
Well, I would like you at least to go and to take that. I mean, like, I would say Dover to Cali. Yes, you could argue that one. You could. It's because we're talking 24 miles, aren't we? I mean, there is a point of reference there. You know, like we can see exactly where the guy stood here on the beach. We can see that the White Cliffs of Dover. You can see them.
That doesn't sound like a point of reference. That sounds like, oh, look, there it is.
I mean, is that something that you would look into, that part?
Would you look into this one?
Yes, I will. I would never not. Of course I would.
Yeah.
Of course I would. I've got your name here.
I
And
know, just to change batteries.
of course I would look into that because that's something that I've not seen before.
Because
Well, I like the way that you're, at least I hope that you're challenging and not just doing it all biased and one-sided. Are you open-minded enough to see both sides?
To be honest, no. Earth isn't flat. Is that fair?
are you?
I am.
Yeah.
I am. It's just that it's just because I've seen maybe NASA. I can't accept the footage and all that we get from NASA because I've seen too many lies from NASA.
Then again,
Let's do this again. No.
why would you bring up something you can't prove?
In what way?
Can you prove disprove gravity in some way? Can you do that personally?
Myself. My knowledge on gravity would have to become, in the past, would have to be that I would submit to an authority that someone knows something better than me about gravity. That would be in the past.
Again, this is standard, stereotypical, flat-hard tactics. Just present something that's impossible for anyone to prove or disprove for themselves. Just apply to authorities and pick and choose anything you want. It's so much easier than doing your own research out in the open world.
Okay, now I'm asking for proof. And I think as any adult and any person should be able to ask for proof on gravity, not just you dropping some, but ask for proof that this magical thing is all around us. And I think that you should be able to ask for proof and get that proof. And where is it?
How do you want proof of gravity presented on the square in Oslo outside the central station?
Why do you bring up something? Either of us can do something.
Oh, right, because I mean, like, we would need, we would need hours and days to go through all the footage of NASA. And you've obviously, you must have seen all the anomalies with NASA and the footage of the ISS.
Bring
And
up something you can prove.
in what way?
Can you? We can't do anything about NASA.
You're scoring points now. This isn't about scoring points. I want to appeal to you as a human being and just say, have you seen them anomalies that look strange?
I was watching Gabriel Iglesias here, and all of a sudden this other guy's face did that. So yeah, distortions happens. Do you have a spacesuit, Jason? Do I have a spacesuit? Keep your feet on the ground.
Yes, no, you've shut down and you're becoming, you're trying to score points to win an argument. I'm not here to play games and win an argument. The glitches on videos, yeah. That's one of them. How about bubbles in space? How about
all over the place? Not one direction.
So
that's not bubbles.
That's not bubbles.
No.
When you kind of see it kind of go up and then
yeah,
you see.
But that's not bubbles.
What about?
I've seen bubbles in the water.
Yeah.
One way,
Okay. Sorry. Yes. How about? Did you see the footage when mate is taking the screw out of the hatch door or something and it just falls on the floor?
No, again,
did you see that?
I'm guessing you're talking about this one, where he grabs that screw and it goes, what you call, down. Thing is, we also have this one. Why doesn't that fall down? Is that somehow cables or what is it?
I don't want to try and score points. I just want to highlight a couple of things.
Everything that you can prove by yourself.
No, but again, these aren't things I can prove. These are things that I've witnessed.
These are things you have seen on YouTube. These are things that has been explained on YouTube. When you search for just what you want to see, that's confirmation bias. Search for the explanations.
I have done my observations.
Okay. Sorry, hang on. No, you're generalising there. You've done your observations. So you went to space?
No.
Oh, then you haven't done your observations. Exactly, I haven't.
Ding, ding, ding.
Why do you bring it up then?
In what way? I'm not trying to score points or anything.
Why do you use it then?
Sorry?
Why do you use it?
It's not to score points. It's just trying to highlight to you that a lot of people are coming to this with just trying to win an argument. It's not about winning an argument. I'm quite happy to say I'm quite happy to say that I don't know. On this, there's an awful lot of things that I don't know, and you've probably done some research that I haven't personally done. But you've done that research, but I've done some research that you probably haven't done.
Sure.
Okay?
If you don't know, why do you look at this one?
I'm just going to give him another 10 minutes, and then we'll move on.
You said that 17 minutes ago. I think you'd like this.
Look, let's
look like this one. This is exactly what I have here.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah.
Matches perfectly what I have here.
And you would accept that water can bend then?
It's a certain level.
So you're saying that's okay? Excuse me. Yeah. So you accept that one as that's okay?
Yeah.
See, I find that really odd.
That's the curvature of the Earth.
Okay, I do find that very odd.
Yeah. If you have it big enough like this.
And I find odd the fact that you yourself, without distortion.
What distortion? The board is straight.
That you say that's okay, that photograph. But anyway.
Where's the distortion? That's this.
On that.
Huh?
Right here, right now, unless I get it on my Photoshop and I examine that photograph properly.
Tomorrow morning.
Okay. In what do you mean?
I'm going back there.
Sorry, I did not go back. After that trip and the editing, I was totally exhausted for a long time. But I will go back sooner or later.
And I have another straight board.
Okay, I'm off to. Well, we're making our way to Stockholm tomorrow, so.
Yeah, I'm going back there. This is the end of the road in Tønsberg.
Okay, so if you can send the raw image of that hasn't been edited.
After I posted this video, I'm going to send an email to Jason with a link to this video and the raw file of the photo I showed him.
Tomorrow I'm going back there.
Okay.
And then I have one more board on top of that one to eliminate every single piece of.
Well, that'd be interesting. Oh, I'd be interested in looking at that. Have you also? Because I think that would be interesting to go on Nathan Oakley's show. Have you been on that?
Nathan Oakley. Seriously. The king of the mute button. who does nothing but shout and scream obscenities to other people. No siree, no one's going there.
Yeah, but I don't really like him. He's a bit.
I know. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we shouldn't. It's not about who we like and who we don't like. If you've got some, great evidence there that proves your claims, then people need to see that.
Go home and the rest.
Yeah.
Be sure that we are not light.
Rory has done here.
Yeah.
When you have.
So this is the pictures from Rory. I'm not quite sure if he has a channel anymore. I couldn't find him, but he has these awesome photos from an island. This is 500 feet above the ocean. And again, compress it, and there's the curve.
One on top of one on the bottom.
Right.
Just like that one.
So I really don't know what am I looking at? What's he looking at there?
Long straight board.
Okay, and so does that say Plane Ranger. He does a lot of that. And Ranty Flat Earth, he's been doing observations like that. You've seen that?
Ranty Flat Earth. Are you sure about that?
He's no flat earther.
Ranty.
Ranty is no flat earther.
He's no flat earther.
He's the best evidence for globe ever.
Is that what you think?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
The ship is filming for half an hour over the curvature.
Over the curvature?
Yeah.
Sorry, and we see compression first on we're talking about the Stennerline ship, and we're talking about it being squished and squished and squished.
What ship it is, but
I think it's the Stennerline one. I think that's what it is. See, this argument came about first.
Pretty big one.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can still see the people on board here.
Right.
Yeah.
There is I think it's Taboo Conspiracy. Have you watched his latest video?
How much of the ship do you see there?
Have you watched Taboo Conspiracy's latest?
You see the chimney on the radar. That's it. Where's the rest of the ship?
That's compression and angular resolution.
So now we're talking about ships over the horizon. This is a big one. This color line is 225 meters long. Here I still can see people on the deck. Also, here you can see people on the deck. So it's not angular resolution. Those people are there. It's going further away, and you can still see people here, and here, and here. So I asked him, where is the rest of the boat here? Then he said it was compression and angular resolution and stuff. So I superimposed this one. And then he asked why I compressed it sideways, but not heightways. Let me explain. While I don't have a toy boat to play with, I do have this one. So if this is the stem line, it's coming from my side. So I see the side of it, the full length of the ship. When it's going away from me, in a straight line, like that, I'm going to hold it there. I only see the back part, but the height is still the same. So when I have the radar and the chimney up here, I can compress it sideways because I don't see the side of that ship. Stand next to a highway and see a big trailer going by. You see the flat side here. When it goes away, you have the same height, but the side is compressed. That's why I compressed it side to side, but not height-wise.
So you're hiding
compression and angular resolution, and then there will be obviously some waves and things that are in the front and all that.
Down there.
No, because you're putting the full size of a ship. Now I know that's going to be that full size is going to be squashed and squashed and squashed. You're saying no, and yet it can be proved. It can be proved. If you go into Taboo Conspiracy, and he did a great video on angular resolution and perspective. Go and watch that one, Taboo Conspiracy.
I have not seen Taboo Conspiracy's video, but if I'm going to guess, it's a buoy or a small boat or something. When it zooms into that one, it comes back into view, like all others. That's pixel size. When you zoom out of an object, it gets too small to be registered by the sensor inside the camera.
He puts the coin on the table and watches that go away, and you see it disappear, this entire coin, and it's on a flat surface, and he just sees that disappear. Have you not seen that?
Oh, I was wrong. It was the coin on the table. My bad. Well, the camera is below the table. I wasn't below the ocean. Sorry.
To be someone who doesn't know, you're denying quite a lot.
Like what? What did they deny?
Yeah, this observation.
Because you're saying that that isn't being squished, and yet we've seen what's it, the bottom of holes. We've seen it being squished. We've seen that.
You agree that perspective allows stuff to go into the vanishing point?
To your eye,
Yeah.
yes, and it's relative
go
to where
through?
you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why does it go through that and below?
Say that again.
Why does the wind turbines, they should be above eye level?
You're making that claim. You're saying they should.
They harm me.
Well, I don't know that yet until I get home and look at that. I'm not going to make an observation. You
I'm
like
at
what's it?
22 meters.
Okay.
Then those wind turbines,
Yeah.
300 meters. They should be above me.
Again, I can't really make any calls on this right now here on the street. I need to take that away and have a look.
Biting your own ass again, Jason.
Yeah, but how can that be on the flat Earth? You said
Again, you're making
perspective
you're
goes
making
through
a
vanishing
claim that I can't actually refute here on the street. I need to get that on my computer.
perspective.
I still need to get that on my
Yeah.
computer, and I would go over it. But here on the street, I wouldn't make a statement about that either way. I wouldn't.
But you still wanted me to give you an explanation about gravity that fast.
You're denying it still.
I'm not denying. Did I?
you
At
did.
what point did I just deny it then? I'm not agreeing with you. That's not denying. I refuse
To
to
someone who
agree with
doesn't
you.
know, I really don't.
Okay, I tell you one of
This is
my.
what
All right, we talked about yours.
I
We
make
talked about
notes.
yours. Let me show you one of my. Let me show you one of my experiments that I did, or my tests, my observations. Okay, so you've done that. That's one of yours, and I think that's fantastic that you are out there at least examining. And I hope you're doing it with an open mind. But
That would still be a no. I'm not open to a flat Earth.
nor here or there. One of mine was gyroscopes. Okay, I wanted to know that when you put a level and you go on a plane and you go over from London, go all the way to Australia, would that level invert? Would it go? So you're saying it wouldn't? Okay.
So, let's bring out the globe again. So you're saying when I have the level up here, somehow this should happen on a globe because the level isn't level. That's not how this works. This bowl has no gravity whatsoever. On the globe, this is level all around. Level isn't flat.
Now this in here, I don't know if you know, this my phone here has a MEMS device in my phone, and it works off inertia. Okay, do you know about that?
No, I don't know anything about MEMS devices. I googled it and I found something about a lot of electronic stuff, and to be honest, that's a bit outside of my expertise. But I'm sure it has a perfectly well described function for how it works, even on the globe Earth.
It's a MEMS device and works off inertia. That may be something that you could find out for yourself. Okay,
By the way,
so
watch time on that.
that's fine. Well, you watch him. He's a bloody moron. I'd rather watch you. You know, if you've got some interesting stuff to say, I'd watch your stuff.
Why, thank you, Jason. That's nice of you.
But I certainly wouldn't entertain him. He's a moron. It's just all scripted. When he gets out and starts debating people, when he gets on maybe Nathan Oakley's channel,
Again, no one goes on to Nathan Oakley's channel. He's the master of the mute button, and he screams and shouts all the time. So, no.
or somebody else's, and he starts debating, then we'll take him seriously. Until then, he's a moron with a script. You'd have to recognise that, surely.
I don't think anyone wants to debate on Nathan Oakley's channel because he is on his mute button.
Well, regardless,
No, he won't debate on a
he won't debate
neutral
anybody.
channel.
That's the problem.
On a neutral channel.
Nathan Oakley will never debate anyone outside his own echo chamber.
People will take you more seriously than what he is. It's just because people are glorifying him because, he's got lots of viewers and all of that. Look, anyway, this MEMS device, okay?
Yeah.
I built myself a 24-hour cradle. Okay, I put my MEMS device in that cradle. I put the little bubble that you get on like a compass.
Yeah.
I put that there, and I watched this MEMS device for I had it on 24 hours, and it went right the way underneath. And
At this point, Jason's phone died, so I guess this is a nice time to end this part. The next part may be a little more choppy because that's from someone else's camera. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.